Hi there. Today I wanted to talk about some of the normal reactions that people have following a death. If you've never been through this before, and I know there are plenty of you out there who have not, there are some wild and wacky things that happen, especially early on, that are very confusing and concern people and make them feel like they're going crazy. You're not, but it sure can feel that way. My name is Susan Fuller, and I am here to help you get through your grief in the best way possible, the fastest way possible, easiest way possible. That's what we're working toward. And it starts with understanding where you are right now. This particular video is really focused on people in the first 3 months, maybe the first 6 months. These sorts of things tend to start resolving in the second half of the first year. So I wanted to tell you a story about someone back when I was working for hospice. I routinely sent out a list of normal grief reactions, and I would send it out with one of the early letters. And I got an email back from somebody who was just amazed. And I want to read you what she said. Thank you for sending me the list of normal grief reactions. I thought grief was just sadness and tears. I thought the things I was experiencing were unrelated, but it turns out they are related to my grief. And I think that's a really common experience. Yes, there's lots of sadness, there's lots of tears, but there are lots of other things too. And they don't always connect as being related to your grief. I think the ones I'm talking about today probably will seem related, but you may have some aha moments. Oh, I didn't think that was related to the grief. But today we're talking about some of the most common ones. And the first is feeling exhausted. I often say to people early on that you could sit in a chair all day long, do absolutely nothing. You may be doing this, absolutely nothing, and still be exhausted at the end of the day, even if you're sleeping well, which many aren't. I will get into more of that in a moment. But exhaustion, fatigue are very much a part of this. And it has to do with how much emotional energy you're expending. That's why you could sit in a chair all day long and be exhausted, simply because of the emotional energy that grieving takes. And it does take a tremendous amount. So that's one, exhaustion. The other is feeling overwhelmed. You're being bombarded by feelings you may never have quite experienced like this before. And you have demands on your time, and there's all the paperwork and the pressure to start sorting through things. By the way, you don't have to be in a hurry about that, but a lot of people feel pressured to do that. You can wait. But there's just a sense of overwhelm. There's so much to do, and you don't have the energy, and you're exhausted, and it's just overwhelming, totally overwhelming. It's also disorienting. Nothing feels like it's where it ought to be, including your emotions, including your physical health. Everything feels kind of out of sync. So that's very much a part of early grief as well. And trouble concentrating is related to this. And usually what I hear from people is I sit down to read something, and I read the same paragraph over and over and over again, and I still don't know what I read. That is incredibly common. And none of these are a permanent state, but they can last for months. And particularly this early first 3 months and maybe into 6 months, it feels like it's going to go on forever. It's not. I promise it's not, but it sure can feel that way. So, and I mentioned trouble sleeping. This falls generally into two categories. One is trouble falling asleep, and the other is waking up in the middle of the night, not being able to go to sleep. Some people experience both, but I think there's a tendency most people have one pattern or another. It's normal. There's not a lot to do about it. If it goes on and you really aren't sleeping at all, yeah, I might go for a little something to relax you, but I'm not a big fan of medications, especially early on, because generally you don't need them and they're not going to help that much anyhow. So, sleeplessness is part of it. That feeds into the fatigue and the exhaustion and the overwhelm and the difficulty concentrating. And this is all woven together. They're all playing off of each other. And interspersed is the sadness and the tears. So it's that's the whole picture, and it's all over the map, and it's up and down, and it's all that. I know you know what I'm talking about because you're experiencing it right now. So the other things related to this or derived from this is things that people don't think about is you might be accident prone because you're tired, you're not paying attention, you're having trouble concentrating, and it takes some concentration to, for example, drive a car. Or you might be dropping dishes on the floor, they just slip out of your hand, that sort of stuff. You're not all there. So it is really worth being attentive as you can be, um, to avoid as much of that as possible. It does happen and really comes from you're just not there. All of your energy is going into the fact that you've lost this person that was the center of your life, and you have no idea what's coming. And here you are. This is the worst part. This first 6 months is the worst. Truly the worst. It does start getting better, and nobody really believes me, but I feel compelled to say that to you. So, another thing that I think can be really problematic because people are probably asking you to make decisions. You are not a good decision maker right now. You're just not. Nobody is. Again, for all of the reasons, same reasons, you're accident prone, exhausted, overwhelmed, all of that. No sleep. Any decision you can postpone, the better. And especially those big ones. A lot of people feel like they have to uh, start thinking about moving. And there are occasionally compelling reasons that that needs to happen, and you need to think about that, but it's not all that common. So the general rule of thumb is wait a year, because a year from now, you will be a much better decision maker. Trying to make rash decisions now, you're very likely to look back and wish you hadn't done what you decided to do. So just sit tight, sit tight. And if you need to do something big like move, try to do it in year 2. So you can think about it. You can think about what you want. I'm just saying, don't do it. Don't sign anything you don't have to sign. Just don't. And let's see. Oh, another one, I think it's kind of related. I might put this in another video, but fear about your own health. And sometimes people have experienced the symptoms of the person who died, if it was an anticipated death and you were a caregiver, that it's possible that you kind of take on those symptoms. It's interesting. The brain is so interesting. The body is so interesting. And this grief impacts it all. So it's not, again, it's not all sadness and tears. It is all this other stuff. And what can you do about it? There's not a lot to do about it right now. There's not a lot to do about it. The most you can do is be kind to yourself. Don't expect too much of yourself. Don't push yourself. I want to say just give in to the chaos of it. But most people really resist that. It is helpful, but it's not. Don't fight it. That's what I'm saying. Don't fight it. And just be wherever you are. Let the grief take you where it needs to take you. It's going to be the roller coaster ride and the tsunamis and the tears in the middle of the grocery store and all of that. It's going to be that. It doesn't stay that way forever, but It is incredibly difficult. And the best thing you can do is really be kind to yourself, be selfish in the best possible way, take care of yourself. Don't listen too much to other people who are encouraging you to get out or do things, or, listen to what you need in the moment. Sometimes following through on their suggestions makes sense. Maybe what might be good for you, but don't feel like you have to. You are the person who can choose what's right for you in the moment. So that is really the most important thing you can do, is just be kind to yourself. Take good care of yourself as much as you can. Try to eat, try to rest. Even if you can't sleep, rest. And give it time. Give it time. Okay? I wish you all well, and I will be back with more. All right? You take care. Bye-bye.